another video, and today we can start with the light subject of death, and let's throw in incarnation, death and incarnation. Uh, should we do incarnation first? So, what is incarnation? Why is there incarnation? Like there are beliefs where the incarnation is seen as something good, like you would evolve through your incarnations, like you start out as a bug and you incarnate through various different life cycles into something divine, basically. I don't know what that would be. And then there's beliefs where the incarnation is seen as like a soul trap, where you cannot escape the earthly prison planet thing, and yeah, so there's different sides to what incarnation might be, but let's put it down so that even the little kids inside will know what incarnation actually is. So let's start with a that would be those would be waves of the ocean, right? So that's the ocean. And let's say that the ocean would be your reality, your life. Your experience right now would be you are an ocean. And then so the ocean would be, well, we all can imagine what the ocean can be or would be or should be. Like it can be whatever. It's everywhere, connects everything to everything, and it gives a lot of resources to life, basically, in many different forms, and there's all sorts of variety of things happening in the ocean. So that would be your life. Your life right now would be an ocean. So yeah, so the ocean, your life as an ocean, if it comes to an end, there will be death. Whoa, death. And in this case, it would, after death, it would reincarnate. Let's say we have a sun over here, and it heats up the ocean, surface of the ocean. The water gets hotter and hotter. So now it gases up. It gases up. It gases up. It gases up. And that gassing part would be another life. So now that gas wouldn't know that it was the ocean before. Like it doesn't have that memory anymore. And we're gonna talk about the memory wipes and all that later. But so now what was the ocean is now experiencing itself as the water vapor rising up, and that would be another reincarnation. Another life cycle would happen once it evaporates into the air, and then another incarnation would be it being a cloud. and it would have this experience as being a cloud. And then it might hit a mountain. That same cloud would hit a mountain, and then it would die being a cloud. And once that cloud would hit the mountain, it would start a stream, and that would become a let's say that would become a river. So now the river would be the next incarnation. After the cloud hits the mountain, then it becomes the stream that grows into a river, and finally that ends up back into the ocean again. So what's the common thing in this reincarnation cycle? This would be another reincarnation, this would be another, this one and this one. So of course there can be more or less, but just for this demonstration, let's just do like 4 different sections. So ocean is just an experience for what in this case? What is the common thing for these 4 things? And the thing I'm after is, so of course, it's the consciousness. It is the infinite having that experience. But so in this case, the common thing would be water. Water, in this case, water would be the consciousness. This is just to demonstrate how the consciousness is experiencing or the same thing, like in different reincarnations, the same thing. The water is experiencing things differently. Like the experience is different. And then so like I said, there is, like, between the incarnations, there is the thing that is usually mentioned as the memory wipe. And because a lot of people exploring this realm of things, like the matrix and exiting and whatever, like they see this life as just being full of suffering and bad things and pain and whatnot. So they would see the incarnation as something that would keep them in this loop of pain and suffering. And then because there's the so-called memory wipe. So basically this cloud doesn't remember that it was the water vapor before, and this water vapor doesn't remember being an ocean before, and this river doesn't remember being any of this before. So that's only because there is a memory wipe. And what's the reason for that to be there? Because, like I said, a lot of people see that as a way to keep this trap going. They see that as a way of for us, like you and me, on a separate as separate individuals, from remembering that we came from that or that or that. So we don't have that awareness, and that is exactly why the memory wipe has to be there. The memory wipe, the purpose for that is let's do our reality here once more. Let's just do a quick one. You all seen the guys here, and you know the drill. You've seen the video before, but so because this, let's start filling something up here. So this is the experience, and this is let's call this unconditional love. So that's unconditional love. Everything outside the experience is unconditional love. And or this is the God, infinite. And I know a lot of people associate God with something really religious, but in this case, it is just everything that there is, and like everything and nothing all at once. That's what God is. So, memory wipe has to be like unconditional love can never experience itself. Unconditional love can never experience itself other than through a form. There has to be a form. So this guy and this dude dead. So unconditional, because it can never experience itself. It can never experience love. Just like God can never experience. God is all okay. God is all knowing, and I'm working my way to the memory wipe. So God is all knowing, and but knowing is not the same as having the experience. If you go to the restaurant and you have a look at the menu, you have never tried any of the things on the menu, so you know exactly what there is on the menu, but you don't have the experience of what everything tastes like, what the textures would be, like all that stuff. So here there are no textures, like outside the now, the experience, there is no texture, there is no grid, there is no friction, there is nothing. So unconditional love can be only experienced through a form. So the let's say that why let's say this dude would go through incarnation. He's had an experience here, and it's been up to this dude what the experience is like through his own free will. He can do whatever here, and now he's facing death, and after death there will be an incarnation. So why doesn't the memory follow? So why doesn't the memory follow? Like, why doesn't he have that memory from his past lives? Why doesn't that experience stick with the why cannot that be there? Why there has to be the memory wipe? So in order for you to have the human experience, for you to have your human experience, like even a partial awareness would ruin this experience. It would ruin the experience of duality. It would ruin having that grid. It would ruin the experience of ever experiencing love from the duality. Like if there even was that partial awareness, it would ruin the human experience. Let's say God is all knowing, but in that knowing there is no experience. And the one thing that, like all, let's call this the all, everything basically, like everything happens here, but in here there's nothing missing. Like there's, let's say the God, the only thing God cannot have here, because here, like every single thing is already here. Like all the, let's use like all the songs of the world are playing here at the same time. But God can never experience forgetting other than through the form. And the it's your experience that, like, every single unique, because you, let's say this is you are unrepeatable, you're unrepeatable, and it is the infinite having this experience through your eyes. There will never be a repeatable experience. You are the infinite having that experience. You are the eyes of the infinite. You are the God. I know. And for those thinking that, okay, that sounds very egoistic, but it's the opposite of that. Because the ego is always tied to the self, but God, if God is everything, then I'm not separate from anybody else. So everybody is God. So there is no ego involved. So, but you are given the unconditional love, the experience through your love, your eyes. And it's always unique. Nobody can experience your life like you do. There is nobody who can see the same things like you do through your eyes. So the memory wipe needs to be there for you to have the full human experience in the present moment, in the now. So the memory wipe needs to be there for us to have the human experience fully. That doesn't take away that we are going back during our lifetimes back to this and having the understanding, the awareness of this. But we start from scratch basically. And that is just because the infinite is having that experience through us, through our eyes. So that's why the memory, it's not there to keep us trapped in any way. It's there. I can do a video on the demiurge and the archons and all that, and explain what that actually is, because even that is, well, it is what it is. But yeah, so the incarnations are different experience. So why do there need to be experience if the God is everything? The God is the God is everything, but the God doesn't, or it can only experience everything through you, through the experience of life. And all that, like everything you say, everything you do, everything you think, everything you don't say, think, or do, it all echoes through eternity. So once you've had that experience, it all goes back to the consciousness in real time. But yeah, well, and what? Okay, so time actually, yeah. Why there is time? Time is like, yeah, everybody's telling that time is illusion. Well, who can live their life without time? How does that work? Time is illusion. In this reality, how do you operate without time? You can throw away your watch. You can not have a calendar, or you can, like, yeah, I don't worry about timetables or any of that. You just make your own timeline or whatever. But how does time, or how does your life work without time? If, like, everybody keeps saying that it is illusion, it is illusion in a way, yes, but in this reality it is very, very real. This reality happens only in the now, but time gives this and this experience. It gives a timeline, and the timeline is such a beautiful thing, because if you would think if you would think that there is eternity, once you are born here, there is eternity, like you would never die, that experience would be like just think about, why would you even get up from bed in the morning if there's no timeline? You kind of have that short span of time that allows you to experience this. This kind of makes this possible. So now whatever you want to experience here, it has to be done within a timeline. Here there is no time once you go back to the unconditional love again. But here you have timeline. This timeline gives the life certain structure. And that's not like a limiting thing. That's just allowing you to experience this within certain timeline. And so you can have your reincarnations, and they all come with the timeline. So, yeah, okay, so now we know that we are basically that consciousness having different incarnations, different experiences. It is always the same. The water in this case would be the consciousness, just having these experiences in this now. And that's what incarnation allows us to do. So why would there have to be incarnation? Like, and will the incarnations ever stop, or is it just like a everlasting cycle? And like does this ever end? Well, first of all, outside this, there is no timeline. So once this ends, you go back to the unconditional love. There is no time. Then you realize that this doesn't exist. So it doesn't really matter if you go around this like billions of years, because you know that it really doesn't exist. It does here, but here it doesn't. And so for there to be incarnation, there has to be death. So we in the first video we did the meaning of life. So what would be the meaning of death. The meaning of death is, the meaning of life was you. You give this the meaning. You are allowing the infinite to have this experience through your five senses. So whatever you do, there is no wrong or right way. You are doing perfect job. No matter how desperate or how happy you are right now, you are doing perfect right here in this life. Even if you feel like taking your own life right now, you are doing perfect. If you want to live forever, you're doing perfect. Each life is so precious, so valuable, so beautiful. Every experience is so beautiful, so precious. So, okay, so let's first do, because we all know that there's so many different ways to die. There are just like little babies who have just born and they die after few minutes, few hours, few days. So how would that death be significant, or that life to be significant? What would give that life or death meaning? Like that sounds, that's one of the arguments, like we are only born here to experience suffering. So in a case where a child is born and it only gets to live a couple of hours and it dies, what would be the meaning of that life? It's still the same. That child was the meaning of that life, but that experience echoes through eternity, and that experience of that short life timeline, that experience gave so many experiences around it. The parents, the doctors, everybody who got to be there, and even people who weren't there but were affected energetically through the people who were. So that short lifespan gave so much meaning to everybody, and it gave the experience to the God, the all-knowing, the infinite, what it feels like to have that short lifespan and how it manifests for everybody around it. So there are, and then there's people who live over 100 years old. They are happy as ever, or they can be sad as ever, but still they get to lay down and peacefully pass away, surrounded by loved ones. And but yeah, like not all deaths are like that. So there are different kinds of deaths. So why is there? It is the exact same thing why there are different kinds of life experiences. You give that death that experience. You create that death. You project that death. You don't create anything. You create. Well, it doesn't really matter at this point. But yeah, you create that, or you manifest that death in a way that it happens. So what is the meaning of death? What gives death the meaning? What would it be? Like why would you die and incarnate from this to here? What's the meaning of death? Okay, I'm gonna write down here something. Death. completes life. Death completes life. And what the infinite is, it is the pleroma. What pleroma means? It means completeness. Completeness. Okay, I guess so. So pleroma is completeness. Death completes life. Let's do birth there as well. Death completes life and birth. The meaning of death is to complete life. It completes this experience. And if that sounds like bag of nothing, it's actually everything. The meaning of death is how it completes life and birth. There wouldn't be birth without death, or there wouldn't be life without death. And just like I've said in the previous videos, like you can never deny bad. Like in this so-called spirituality, you have only, like, they try to sell you the happy and the good part of life. Like just to choose the higher frequency vibrations, choose the sunshine, choose this, that, and ignore all the bad stuff. But the good is never complete without bad. This, once you unify this, then it's complete. So you need to have the understanding that there is no good without bad. So you have to accept that both have to exist in this reality. So suffering, happiness, they complete each other. They are the same experience. There wouldn't be one without the other. So the meaning of death is to complete life. That then death plus life. Death plus life is complete. So that after this life you die, you become complete again. You go back to the pleroma, the completeness. The most profound journey we can have is going from the separateness to the completeness. And it's not necessarily something that you have to achieve, or it's not something you have to achieve or work for. You just have to live your life in the way that you feel the most like I would say that just make your life so that your soul is happy to inhabit that. But like I said, and that's only because I've done the opposite for the longest time. So I have the experience of what it is like when you are not in that ease, you are in very unease at all times. So the meaning of death is to complete life. Death and life complete each other. That completes the experience. Just like good completes the bad. Suffering completes happiness. And then the illusion of separation goes away. And we go back to the completeness, the pleroma. So your death experience is totally up to you. And the incarnation. Yes, okay, so yeah, I forgot to elaborate on that. So does this have to go on forever and ever? There is no forever and ever. There is no time. So this just allows the consciousness to experience itself through your experience. So, and if you think about how freaking beautiful it is to share this, there is nothing to be shared here. There is no experience outside the now. But just think about all the memories that you have, all the beautiful things that you've shared, and the bad things as well, like the most horrific things, and how you've gone through those and how you've survived all that. And now you have the experience, and now you can look back of, okay, now that shaped you into what you are right now. So the human experience is so beautiful. There is nothing, there's literally nothing outside the human experience. There is all knowing, but the experience is right here. It ends with death, but the consciousness doesn't end. It can never end. It can only have another experience. And for those people who are wondering if there's like a demiurge or archons or something sucking all your energy, wanting to make your life miserable, I can do a different video on that. I'm not planning on doing, this is not my thing. This is, or this is not my thing, the YouTube thing. I'm just putting some of my ideas, my experiences here. I'm sharing those. I have few of these, well, quite many actually lined up. I'm gonna do one every week for 40 weeks, and then I'll be done. And yeah, so it's not like this is gonna be my thing from now on, but it's definitely a thing right now. Okay, so in death, like for the people who see, and I'm quoting myself now, like before I had this understanding, I would say that in this reality, we would always have to consume others, like kill animals to eat them, cut down trees to build houses, eat vegetables for our own consumption. Like we would have to end something else's life, and that would be like increasing the suffering here. But if you think about, everything here is just energy from here manifesting. There will be no more energy. There will never be less energy. No matter what you do here, the energy is the same. So once if you say that you eat animal, that energy just transforms into a different form. And of course, once you become more aware, you become more conscious about how you operate here, then your choices will become more conscious as well. And that is just the journey of going from separation to completeness, to pleroma. But don't feel bad about your life's choices. The energy, it's just energy vibrating. You can never destroy anything here. Your energy, I know what it feels like when you feel like you have drained all your energy. But it's actually not, your energy hasn't gone anywhere. It's just taken a different vibration. The energy is still just energy. But when you're having so-called negative or sad experience, it's the positive frequency coming down. If you go back to the experience of the scale of the soul, how you just can go up and down. It is the exact same thing. When you feel like your energy is being drained, it is just your vibration going lower. The energy is never something you can destroy, but there can never be more of that. It's just the all, the everything happening at once. So death, the experience of death, that's totally up to you. The meaning of death is to complete life, because there wouldn't be life without death. And yeah, so, and what happens after death? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, if I look it like this, it looks kind of confusing. But reincarnation, this the consciousness just having different experiences. The same thing, having different points of view on things. Good completes bad. And the timeline is just there, so you have kind of a timeline to have this experience. But don't be desperate that you're gonna be running out of time. That's that's nothing. There is nothing to be worried about. And it's not up for me to convince anybody. Everybody's gonna figure that on their own timeline once that is the thing for them. But yeah, death is actually a very beautiful thing. It completes life. Life is now, and it is so beautiful. So thank you.